having smashed its way onto our screens back in 2015 when it premiered on the BBC. The Last Kingdom quickly won fans over with its gritty and grounded portrayal of life in the 800s. Whilst The Last Kingdom has finished its run as a TV show, a Netflix movie named Seven Kings Must Die is in the works, a full feature designed to act as an epilogue of sorts to the show. In today's video, we're going to be explaining the epic Season 5 finale and how it sets up the movie. Firstly, The Last Kingdom ending explained. As we mentioned, fans are still reeling from an epic conclusion to The Last Kingdom, with the final episode of the TV series having been released on the 9th of March, along with the rest of the season in what is at this point the familiar Netflix formula of just dumping 10 hours of content at once and allowing fans to binge the entire thing in one go. So what exactly happened in this grand finale? Well, firstly, Bebbanburg became a pivotal point of interest once more. The ancestral home of Uhtred, which was stolen by his uncle Elfric decades ago, ended up being the battleground for the series finale. Antagonist Aethelhelm used the area as his final stronghold throughout Season 5, and it was within this fortress land that he planned to force King Edward's daughter, Aethelwyn, to marry King Constantine of Scotland, in return for an incredible amount of wealth. Edward sent Uhtred and a crew of others to rescue the princess, but the group was discovered, and Haston made a heroic sacrifice to save his fellow warriors. Edward, meanwhile, grew tired of waiting and marched an army to Bebbanburg, leading to a great and bloody battle that the Saxons came very close to losing. In the end, however, Uhtred manages to kill his abhorrent cousin Witger and reclaim his land, while Aethelhelm is forced to confess to his role in the death of Queen Aethelflaed, leading to his disownment and eventual suicide. King Constantine agrees a truce with Uhtred and the Saxons, but under the terms that the Kingdom of Northumbria will remain independent from Edward's rule. This is important because Northumbria is essentially a buffer state between the kingdoms of Scotland and Mercia, providing a shield for the Scottish against Edward's rule. Edward is furious at this, both wanting revenge on Constantine for his role in the abduction of Aethelwyn and desperate to realize his father's vision of a united England. Uhtred explains that the King of Wessex is not trustworthy enough to be the figure of unity required to create the Kingdom of England. He is too reckless. England will be united, he declares, but that task will fall to one of Edward's descendants. So, what does this mean for the film? If the ending of The Last Kingdom felt like it had a few loose ends still in desperate need of being tied up, don't worry. It seems that that was the point. As we've already discussed, The Last Kingdom may be history in terms of being a TV show, but it is far from finished as a story with the Seven Kings Must Die Netflix movie set to be a continuation and final conclusion of this grand tale. The Last Kingdom's series finale does a good job of providing some closure so that it remains a satisfying ending for the show's run, but leaves various questions up in the air to set up the events of this upcoming feature-length project. Victories have been won, of course, with King Edward having rescued his daughter and agreed peace with King Constantine. But, as has already been hinted, this peace is incredibly precarious, with Edward not all too happy about the terms of leaving Northumbria independent. Though he may have peace for now, there's every chance that Seven Kings Must Die will see conflict between the kings of Wessex and Scotland once more, leading to further bloodshed and perhaps even the death of one of these monarchs. Meanwhile, focusing on Uhtred, his story seems to have come full circle, with him having reclaimed his home. But the ending of The Last Kingdom saw his son Osbert return, having been absent for quite some time, a decision which puzzled many due to the fact that he is quite present in the books that Season 5 is based on. Speaking to Radio Times, executive producer Nigel Marchant explained that the showrunners made the decision to exclude Osbert as they already felt there were a lot of characters for the audience to focus on throughout Season 5. Given the way things have panned out between Uhtred and his other two sons, it seems unlikely that this is going to be a smooth family reunion, and it's almost certain that we're going to see some conflict between father and son in the Netflix movie. For certain, we'd expect to see Osbert play an important role, as it would be strange for the showrunners to purposefully exclude him, have him make a big debut at the end of Season 5, and then make him disappear again. And who will be in Seven Kings? We haven't had any real news in the way of a confirmed cast for Seven Kings Must Die, with all information about the Netflix movie being kept to a minimum for the time being. Whilst this means we can't say for certain who will be in Seven Kings, the last events of The Last Kingdom's finale allow us to make some educated guesses on the matter. Obviously, we'd expect to see Uhtred back for the film, and as we've previously covered, Osbert is likely to play a large role since the showrunners went through all of the effort to bring him back at the series climax. Given the animosity between the two kings of Scotland and Wessex, we'd also expect to see King Constantine and King Edward make their returns, along with the rest of the Wessex royal family, meaning returns of the likes of Aethelstan and Elfwin. Among others, one surefire way of figuring out who will be in the cast is by looking at those who definitely won't be on account of their characters being dead, which is the case for the likes of Witgar, Lord Aethelhelm, Haston, Aethelfled of Mercia, and Breda, being just a few of the characters who died in Season 5 alone. Unless we get some flashbacks or ghostly appearances, it would be safe to say that none of these characters will play a prominent role in Seven Kings. Besides Alexander Draymond returning as Uhtred, the only other cast member we've received official confirmation on as returning face is Arnis Fedorovicius, who will reprise his role of longtime ally of Uhtred, Sihtric. There's also a great likelihood that we'll see some new characters introduced for the movie, though as with the rest of the cast details, we have yet to receive anything concrete in the way of an official confirmation. Next up, who's making the movie? Retaining the majority of the key cast members is obviously very important for the success of Seven Kings, as the leading cast members are most recognizable links between the film and the incredibly popular Last Kingdom series. Failing to bring back someone like Draymond to play Uhtred, for example, would be a horrific blow, as fans would instantly be turned off at the idea of seeing all their favorite characters recast. It just wouldn't feel the same. Whilst all of this is obviously true, another area of production that is equally important is the personnel behind the scenes, including the writers, producers, directors, and even the source material. Fans will be thrilled to hear that those who have been trusted with bringing the Saxon epic to the big screen are the same people who contributed so heavily to its success on the small screen. Series regular Edward Bezelgett has been called up to direct the feature, a BAFTA-nominated filmmaker who's directed multiple episodes of The Last Kingdom, among other shows like Doctor Who and The Witcher. Fun fact about him, he was the lead guitarist for the English rock band The Vapors back in the 80s. Meanwhile, the movie's being written by Martha Hillier, who is a co-executive producer, as well as being a scriptwriter for the show during its 4th and 5th seasons, meaning she has plenty of experience with the world of The Last Kingdom. Show creator Stephen Bouchard is also the one overseeing the development of the Netflix movie, and the film will continue the trend of being based upon novels from Bernard Cornwell's Saxon Stories series, the Seven Kings being based on the event of the final 3 books in the same series. All of this would suggest that Seven Kings will be exactly the type of well-produced, heartfelt send-off to the epic saga that fans are so very hopeful for, which is obviously important. Retaining the spirit of the series is crucial to Seven Kings being good, with many having feared that the shift to a feature-length movie could represent too large a change from the story's usual formula. Producer Marchant compared this final project as a end piece of the jigsaw, and we can't wait to see how Seven Kings brings an end to the story. And that's everything. Are you excited for Seven Kings Must Die? What did you think of The Last Kingdom's ending? Let us know in the comments, and until next time, see you soon.